watching Republic.
Hi there, good evening. Hope you had a great Sunday. And now it's time to look forward to the coming week. Welcome back to this week's edition of Looking Forward with me, Abhishek Kapoor. The show is about stories that are shaping up over the coming days and weeks, news that is developing and will have consequences for your life and mine, and impact our choices. Stories that shape India's and world's politics and economics going forward. So let's get going. Tonight's show packs a punch with 4 stories that you should look forward to this coming week. It's the decision week for Bihar after 4 months long campaign, which ended in the evening at around 5 p.m. today. After 48 hours of silence period, when the people of Bihar contemplate whom to vote for in phase 2, it would be over to the results on Friday, November 14. While you get ready to keep pace with the results with Arnab Goswami and his team on the D-Date, tonight is time to do a recap of the campaign and what to look forward to over this week. That's our story number 1. Story number 2 is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming visit to Bhutan on 11th. The Himalayan kingdom is marking the 70th birthday of its 4th king, Jigme Singye Wangchuk. It is a reflection of the bond between the two nations that Thimphu has turned it into a state visit for our Prime Minister. It's both a bond of love and a message of geostrategy. We take a look, and then story number 3 is about External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar's participation at the G7 Foreign Ministers Summit in Canada. It would also be a visit that would further normalize the ties between Ottawa and New Delhi damaged by former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, now gallivanting with a pop singer as per reports. Story number 4 is on a curiosity that America's shutdown is turning out to be. It's been 40 days of the longest shuttering of the American government, and Trump is really struggling to keep giving wages to the USG employees, or keep the flights running for that matter. By the end of the show, you would know all the intricacies of the American constitutional arrangements and the complicated politics around the shutdown. Let's start with the headlines, as we always do. Campaign ends for high-stakes Bihar polls, setting stage for final phase voting on November 11th. Election Commission of India enforces the silence period. Three Islamic State terrorists arrested from Gujarat for planning attacks in India. Investigation into terror links currently underway. According to the Gujarat ATS, one of the accused prepared a liquid called ricin, which is highly poisonous, even poisonous than cyanide. It was going to be used for mass destruction. Islamic State recruiter murder convict seen using phones watching TV in Bengaluru jail. Republic Kannada news break forces Karnataka government to swing into action. IAF's thrilling air show dazzles Guwahati skies as Air Force holds first ever full-scale air show to mark the 93rd anniversary. Indian Air Force fighters Chetak, Rafale, Dakota, Howard, MiGs and Jaguars seen displaying their might in a flamboyant way with nearly 25 formations. And India issues notification for Indian Air Force exercises in the northern sector this time. Exercises to be held from 12th to 14th of November. Rattled Park restricts airspace ahead of India's military exercises. welcome again, friends. Bugles fell silent. Armies of star campaigners were rolled back as curtains came down on the phase 2 of Bihar Assembly elections campaign. The historical voter turnout in phase 1 has added to the suspense and the thrill for political watchers of which way the wind is blowing in the politically astute state of Bihar. While Tuesday would see the polling in 20 districts for 122 seats, this is also the results week. The governance trajectory of the people of Bihar for their next 5 years would be out Friday, November 14. It was an intense 4 months of campaign which began with the SIR row and ended with the Katta songs, symptomatic of the Bihar political landscape. It is remarkable that most observers are saying, some perhaps grudgingly, that there's no anti-incumbency against the Bihar Chief Minister, Nitish Kumar, despite 20 years in power. Friday would perhaps be yet another referendum on the Susashan Babu. Would it be his swan song or the end game, or both? Take a look at how the week pans out for the people of Bihar.
After the historical voting numbers of phase 1 on Thursday with 65% turnout,
पहले चरण के मतदान में बिहार ने कमाल कर दिया है। पहले चरण में जंगल राज वालों को 65 वोल्ट का झटका लगा है। चारों तरफ ये चर्चा है कि बिहार के नौजवानों ने विकास को चुना है।
at 5 p.m. today, the campaign came to a standstill for the second phase, and with that, for the 2025 Bihar Assembly elections. While the Bihar electorate contemplates during next 48 hours of the silence period, going by the analyst, early trends are already in.
देखिए, बिहार में प्रथम चरण का जो मतदान हुआ है, जिस तरह से युवाओं की, माताओं बहनों की भागीदारी हुई है, आम जनता ने बढ़ चढ़कर हिस्सा लिया है। ये महागठबंधन के पक्ष में है और तेजस्वी सरकार बनाने के लिए है। 121 सीटों में हम लगभग 90 से पार करेंगे, ये पूरे दावे के साथ कह सकते हैं।
The Bihar election has been a mystery and everybody is trying to decode it as to what happened in the first phase. From my point of view, what I see, I can say that the voter turnout is baffling, and it is good for democracy, and it is the maximum in 75 years in Bihar. Particularly because of 3-4 reasons. One, that people want to ensure that their name is there in the voter list after this SIR exercise. Secondly, 3 forces are at play: MGB, NDA and PK factor. So all sides have tried to mobilize their maximum.
There are instances when there was a high voter turnout and governments were re-elected in many states. But the highest turnout in the first phase of Bihar election is unprecedented and is a clear indication of a very, very strong anti-incumbency against Nitish Kumar government. There is a sort of, fatigue among the electorate, as Nitish has been there for 2 decades and practically could not do much for the development of Bihar. Bihar is a state which lags behind on 26th or 27th number in almost all the parameters of development. So people won't change. Second phase will reflect this.
While crystal ball gazing for phase 2.
I personally feel that there is going to be a greater surge than last time. We are going to see a good turnout in the second phase as well. The results are going to be interesting to watch, but the way the India Alliance, the Gathbandhan, fell apart in the last few days, right from the ticket distribution to a friendly contest almost in 11 seats, where both of them had their candidates nominated, I think it's that narrative which has fallen apart in the last few days. So the way I see it from a result point of view, it's advantage NDA. They've had a very organic alliance. Their ticket distribution also spelled satisfaction pretty much in their rank and file.
What made this huge voter turnout in Bihar highest in the last 25 years possible?
Record voter turnout is due to Election Commission of India. Thanks to Mr. Gyaneshwar Kumar. Congratulations to Election Commission for holding the free and fair poll. Yesterday also they said there is no one in the booth where re-poll is ordered. Therefore, it's a big egg on the face of Congress and Rahul Gandhi, Tejaswi Yadav.
Some in the opposition have got it completely flummoxed by the 65% voting.
Voter turnout in phase 1 in Bihar has touched 65%. Maximum unprecedented turnout of voters is very clear and obvious. People are against present government. I have already said, if there is free and fair election, then the tenure of this government has come to an end and India will form the government on 14th of this month.
And then doubt gathers in Alvi's mind.
It is an old strategy of Bharatiya Janata Party, not only in Bihar, in each and every state. They try to prevent particularly Muslim voters to reach polling stations. We have seen in Uttar Pradesh, you can say it was absolutely a jungle raj there. Police and administration has collected Aadhaar card, voter card before the election and prevented Muslim community and other voters about whom BJP thinks they are going to vote against BJP, to prevent all of them to reach polling stations. Definitely in Bihar they have done the same thing, and that is the reason we always say Election Commission and Bharatiya Janata Party, they are together.
If you are winning, then why this self-doubt in opposition leaders?
देखिए, अगर चुनाव में धांधली होगी और सत्ता का तंत्र का दुरुपयोग होगा तो इसका तो प्रतिकार किया जाएगा। जहाँ जहाँ गड़बड़ियाँ पाई गई, राजद ने इसकी शिकायत की है और राजद ने सवाल खड़े किए हैं। ये तो लोकतंत्र में सत्ता के इशारे पर अगर कोई काम करने लगे और तंत्र अगर काम करने लगे तो फिर इसका प्रतिकार जरूरी है। लोकतंत्र में जनता मालिक है, जनता जिसे चाहेगी उसे जिताएगी, जिसे चाहेगी हराएगी।
It is the wobbliness that makes analysts believe it might not be an election for opposition to lose.
So, when you ask about the signals from the election, well, there is no palpable anti-incumbency vote against Nitish per se. But if it is true for BJP, I don't know. The mystery of this election has been Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar, that despite 20 years of rule as a chief minister in Bihar, there is no anti-incumbency per se Nitish.
Phase 1 voter turnout, there is no reason that in our stronghold the voting percentage is lower. No. there is a good voting percentage, and the increased female percentage always shows that yes, it's going to be a massive support in favor of NDA, and we are going to cross 200 marks. 160 is the minimum.
With this, the focus has shifted to phase 2, Simanchal, Mithilanchal and Magad, with 20 districts and 122 seats polling on Tuesday.
I think in the second phase, the finale of the narratives is going to be there in full flourish, because don't forget, this entire facade of vote chori, actually it was centered around the Simanchal region. Simanchal region also becomes very interesting because you have the OVC factor there. Now, how much of a spoiler is the OVC factor going to play? That's going to be interesting. But I really think that what the Prime Minister has said and the Home Minister has said, when they say latbaz, latbandan, and when they say ab katta wale dinon pe wapas nahi jana hai, it speaks volumes about that. Also, the entire question of illegal immigration, infiltrators, that is also going to be addressed in the Simanchal region, because we've seen brazen minority appeasement in these regions. Now, this was an area where we had the Aadhaar saturation in excess of 100% in many of the constituencies, which is why the SIR became all the more important. The Home Minister has been very, very clear that we will weed out every single illegal infiltrator, and that is the thrust of the campaign there.
गृह मंत्री आप हैं, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी है, नीतीश कुमार की 20 साल से सरकार यहाँ पर है, तो फिर घुसपैठी कैसा आ रहा है? ये तो आपका निकम्मापन है। और SIR हुआ, क्या अमित शाह या बीजेपी ने 100 नाम दिए सीमांचल से घुसपैठियों के? नहीं दिया। ये सिर्फ सीमांचल की जनता को बदनाम करने के लिए, एक समुदाय जो मुसलमान है उनको बदनाम करने के लिए। सीमांचल में आपने कुछ काम नहीं किया, सब काम आपने पटना राजगीर में किया, और आप बोल रहे घुसपैठी आया, तो आप कुछ काम नहीं किए, तो इसको आप कम्युनल कलर देना चाहते हैं।
This is the belt. Districts of Kishanganj, Purnia, Katihar, Araria, where the AIMIM chief Asauddin Owaisi has made his 17% pitch.
मल्ला 3.5% हैं। उनके नेता ने बड़ी जिम्मेदारी से कहा कि मल्ला का बेटा उप मुख्यमंत्री होगा, तो 17% अल्पसंख्यक समाज मुसलमान है, उनको क्या लॉलीपॉप देंगे आप? ये हमारा सवाल है। 14% यादव में 36% टिकट देते हैं उनको आप। ये क्या है? ये सामाजिक न्याय है? बताइए आप, ये सवाल है हमारा।
NDA parties have fielded only 5 Muslim candidates, only 5 this time, and not a single of them is from BJP, whereas Mahagathbandhan has fielded 31 Muslims. The number of NDA's backward and most backward candidates is 113, and Mahagathbandhan has 136 candidates from this category. Dalit candidates from NDA are 38, from Mahagathbandhan 40. So it is clearly evident that Muslims, of course, have almost no place in BJP-dominated NDA, and Dalits, backwards and most backwards also have no preference. 85 of NDA candidates belong to upper castes, Bihar, Rajput, Brahmins, etc. Mahagathbandhan has fielded half of NDA's number, only 43 general category candidates.
When it's Bihar, it does get reduced to caste dynamics. But are they really that important?
BJP's high voltage campaign, has it paid dividends? I'm not very sure, because the politics of Bihar is still, wrapped in this mandal mentality, social justice mentality. And the problem in Bihar of this unemployment, migration, poverty, deprivation, caste calculus, it's all there. So it doesn't carry Hindutva very deep. Hindutva is not able to penetrate so much in Bihar, and that is why BJP, I think, they need people like Nitish.
Rajagopalan believes this caste arithmetic fails in front of the hard work of the BJP and the NDA.
Momentum is there. Today morning also Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken extensively in three places in Bihar. And moreover, I say Bihar election campaign, Narendra Modi got 80%. Amit Shah 80% concentrated on Bihar. Yogi Adityanath 80% concentrated on Bihar. Rajnath Singh 80% concentrated on Bihar. Nitish Kumar 80%. Whereas Tejasvi Yadav only 70-73%. They don't have interest down. And Rahul Gandhi 45% interest. Priyanka Gandhi 35% interest. Opposition in Bihar is dead. That is why I say it's a victory for Nitish Kumar.
The fulcrum of the NDA campaign was the fear of return of the Jungle Raj.
उनका एक और गाना चल रहा है, मारब सिक्सर के 6 गोली छाती में। यही इनका तौर तरीका है, यही इनका प्लान है। इनसे कोई भी सवाल पूछेगा तो यही जवाब मिलेगा, मारब सिक्सर के 6 गोली छाती में।
इस बार बिहार विधानसभा के चुनाव में आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, आदरणीय गृह मंत्री ने जिस तरह से भाषा का प्रयोग किया है निचले स्तर पर जाकर, कट्टा, गोली, सिक्सर, ये सब बता रहा है कि ये चुनाव हार रहे हैं। हताश निराश में बिहार में कट्टा, सिक्सर, गोली की बात करेंगे, गुजरात में फैक्ट्री लगाएंगे।
The NDA hits back. Why not?
समस्तीपुर के मोदी नगर में एक छोटे बच्चे से तुकबंदी में कट्टा, गमछा और बेटी के बारे में जिस शब्द का इस्तेमाल किया उसके माँ पिता भी शर्मसार हो गए। तो जो लोग ऐसा राजनीतिक ट्रेनिंग दे रहे हैं, कट्टा की बात एक बच्चे से करवा रहे हैं कि तेजस्वी भैया आएंगे तो कट्टा लाएंगे, ये कट्टा कलम चाहिए उन बच्चों को। तो स्वाभाविक रूप से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने विपक्ष के चुनावी अभियान के जो सबसे कमजोर नस है उसको दबा दिया है, तो बेचैनी में है, कट्टा राज चाहिए। अरे बिहार को केवल कानून का राज और विकास का राज चाहिए।
In an insecure environment, you cannot do any development. Everything takes a backseat. So for that, these katta people, these cruel people must not come back. And it's necessary to remind people about it.
If Congress and Tejasvi Yadav are going to concentrate on SIR, that is why the best reply to SIR is Ghusbetiyan, Katta, the violence, the Jungle Raj. At least Prime Minister in each public meeting, public rally in Bihar used Jungle Raj 25 to 30 times in each place. He whipped up the feeling because if Jungle Raj is returning, the center cannot control. Bihar will go back to the corruption Raj. That is why Ghusbetiyan, Jungle Raj were taken utmost importance.
The Jungle Raj narrative has a counter though, howsoever feeble.
That Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah has been trying to, take people to the Jungle Raj, as they call it, they claim, of 20 years back. That's right, and that seems to be a battle cry to infuse that in the mind of the people, so as to, scare them of returning to the same Jungle Raj. In my view, these are, battle tactics. When the BJP leaders talk about, even the JDU leaders talk about Jungle Raj, you must appreciate what must be taken into account, that whatever has happened in Mokama has tarnished that image. That if it was Jungle Raj, say 20 years back, what is this Raj then? Personally, I would say I would have expected a much better standard of campaigning, rhetoric from the Prime Minister and even Home Minister Amit Shah.
And then Singh throws a spanner in the works.
Two more factors. One, is everything well between Nitish and BJP? I'm not sure.
The BJP has officially responded to this opposition attack on Nitish's post-November 14 fate, whether he would remain Chief Minister of Bihar or not.
पिछले 20 साल से नहीं, पिछले 30 साल से बिहार में एनडीए चल ही रहा है। 1906 से 1996 1996 में यहाँ स्वर्गीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जर साहब के नेतृत्व में बिहार में एनडीए बनी। 2005 से नीतीश जी हमारी चेहरा यहाँ हुआ है, मुख्यमंत्री बने हैं। अभी भी जो पहला चुनाव सभा में विदाउट एनी एम्बिग्यूटी, कोई इधर उधर ना करते हुए प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि अच्छे काम हो रहा है, नीतीश जी के नेतृत्व में हो रहा है और नीतीश जी हमारे नेता रहेंगे। कल भी उन्होंने बिहार की जनसभाओं में उस विषय को दोहराया, बार बार दोहराया, इसलिए कोई सवाल ही नहीं है कि नीतीश जी है या नहीं है।
It's over to Tuesday for phase 2 and Friday for the Bihar election results.
Right. While many countries in our neighborhood are in political turmoil, some due to destabilization from deep states, some due to foreign intervention, and some due to political economic coercion, Bhutan stands out as a Shangri-La of peace. It still has to deal with the Himalayan geography of being sandwiched between India and China. It is fortunate that Thimphu finds in India a civilizational connect. This week, Prime Minister Modi would be traveling to Bhutan, his fourth since 2014, to not only inaugurate Bhutan's biggest ever India-backed hydro project, but also to celebrate the 70th birthday of King of Bhutan, the fourth king, His Majesty, Jigme Singye Wangchuk. This two-day trip packs symbolism and substance, and most importantly, a powerful geostrategic signal.
In the realm where clouds touch mountains and rivers write their stories in stone. Two nations meet, not as neighbors, but as family.
Prime Minister, my elder brother, every time I have the opportunity of meeting you, I'm overcome with joy. Your Excellency, Prime Minister, my mentor, every time I meet you, I'm inspired to work even harder as a public servant.
This week, as Bhutan prepares to honor its beloved monarch's 70 years, Prime Minister Modi journeys north, bearing the gifts of light, water, and brotherhood.
भूटान के लोग भी यह जानते हैं, मानते हैं कि भारत उनका परिवार है। हमारे संबंध अटूट है, हमारी मित्रता अटूट है, हमारा आपसी सहयोग अटूट है और सबसे बड़ी बात है, हमारा विश्वास भी अटूट है।
PM Modi is all set to pay a state visit to Bhutan from November 11th to 12th, his fourth visit since 2014.
India is the land of Buddha's enlightenment, Buddha's Karma Bhumi, and that point is accepted by everyone. But Bhutan is the only Vajrayana kingdom, and the Vajrayana has its origin in Nalanda premises. So India had taken this event as a very unique celebration, and therefore India has offered to have exposition of holy relics of Lord Buddha, that Pibrahwa Kapil Vastu relics. The relics have arrived today, and that will be on display from 12th to 16th in Thimphu.
The visit is rich in sentiment. It's not just diplomacy, but an occasion to celebrate the 70th birthday of the 4th King of Bhutan. India is invited as the chief guest, but this is more than just a celebration. It's a reminder that India is not just a partner for trade, but for defense, energy, and Bhutan's democratic transition since 2008. The centerpiece of this visit is the inauguration of the fully complete 1020 megawatt Punat Sangchu 2 hydropower plant project, funded 100% by India with just one goal: to boost Bhutan's energy capacity by 40% and feed clean electricity to both nations.
This visit of the Prime Minister is particularly special because it comes against the backdrop of the 70th birth anniversary celebrations of His Majesty, the 4th King of Bhutan. It is a very joyous moment in the country, and in being present, the Prime Minister honors His Majesty, the 4th King of Bhutan, as also the time-tested India-Bhutan partnership. And then don't forget, this visit has all the important markers of a good visit. There will be some MOUs signed, some agreements signed, the inauguration of a hydroelectric power project, the news about connectivity between India and Bhutan, the rail links. So altogether, all up, I would say, a very significant visit that will further strengthen the already strong relations between our two countries, which are based off mutual respect, mutual trust, and mutual goodwill.
This would be the 5th hydropower project that India has assisted in Bhutan. From the Chuka hydroelectric power plant in 1988, to Kurichu HEP in 2001, to the Tala HEP in 2007, Mangdekchu HEP in 2019, and then the Punat Sangchu 2 HEP in 2025. It's not just infrastructure. India is building export prosperity, as hydro sales have become the backbone of Bhutan's economy. Nearly 70% of Bhutan's power is exported to India. India is Bhutan's largest trading partner with over $1.26 billion in exports and around $500 million in imports.
I understand some MOUs are going to be signed during the course of the visit, and the inauguration of the hydroelectric power project, Puna 2, which has been in the making for some time, is a good augury. It enhances Bhutan's export revenues while also ensuring environmentally responsible growth, which is so important to Bhutan. At the same time, the announcement of the rail links is very good as a connector between our two countries, which anyway enjoy open borders, the free movement of goods and people. It would be easier for Bhutanese goods to enter the Indian market, faster, cheaper, and likewise for Indian goods to enter the Bhutanese market. So I see these as very positive signals. The visit is not just ceremonial, clearly. It helps Bhutan strengthen its economic resilience, its economic base, and its future roadmap.
Strategically, PM Modi's visit matters more than ever. The visit isn't just about ribbon cutting or celebration. It's about red lines. Satellite images show China is stepping up construction near the Jakarlung, Doklam and the Siliguri Tri-Junction. India's top-level outreach is a clear message. New Delhi won't cede Himalayan ground easily.
Definitely, it sends a very strategic message to China. The reason is very simple. China has been trying to co-opt or engage the nation through its BRI policy, and this one belt, one road policy, which earlier existed, has been converted to this BRI policy, Belt and Road Initiative. And in this initiative, you will find that energy, connectivity is the main point, and it has been investing money in this project also. So definitely we have gone beyond this strategic or any narrow interest or narrow gains, and we have got long-term cultural ties and very old cultural ties.
This visit is marked by more than geopolitical milestones and power projects. In a profound gesture of spiritual unity, Prime Minister Modi's presence also coincides with a rare moment for the Himalayan kingdom and the Buddhist world. The exposition of the sacred Piprava relics of Lord Buddha from India. At Thimphu's Tashichajong, Prime Minister Modi will bow before the holy relics, joining Bhutanese monks and pilgrims in prayers that echo centuries of shared faith and wisdom. The moment carries deep resonance as the Indian leader is going to participate in the Global Peace Prayer Festival, bringing together voices of harmony and hope from across Asia. Whether it's brotherly warmth, economic muscle, or the Himalayan chessboard, Prime Minister Modi's visit reaffirms that when India looks north, it does so with purpose. For Bhutan, it's tradition and trust. For India, it's partnership and strategic depth. In the arms of the Himalayas, the world watches how India and Bhutan step forward together.
All right, as the world grapples with trade wars and shifting alliances, India steps onto the global stage yet again. This time at Canada's G7 Foreign Ministers Summit in Niagara. With External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar heading north, this visit underscores New Delhi's rising clout amid economic turbulence, from resetting ties with Ottawa to countering Beijing's shadow. This week, we look forward to how India shapes the G7 agenda and beyond.
In the roar of Niagara's waters, where borders meet and ambitions flow, the G7 gathers once again to pull together a fractured world. Like each year, India yet again arrived not just as a guest, but as a gravitational force, as the fourth largest economy, soon to be third, pulling alliances towards resilience amid storms of trade and tension. Canada's Foreign Minister Anita Anand announced on Thursday that External Affairs Minister of India Dr. S. Jaishankar is invited to the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting in Niagara-on-the-Lake, near the iconic falls. The gathering advances Ottawa's priorities: maritime security, economic resilience, energy security, and critical minerals amid global challenges. With 11 nations plus the EU, it's a forum where India's voice has risen in importance, especially as the world's most populous nation and a supply chain hub.
There are certain countries that should be at the table for those discussions, and in my capacity as G7 chair, in consultation with others, some others, make those determinations. India, the fifth largest economy in the world, effectively the most populous country in the world, central to a number of those supply chains, at the heart of a number of those supply chains, so it makes sense.
See, it's very clear. G7 is a multilateral meeting, a grouping, right? Wherein, yes, India is there, the G7 nations are there, and some other invited nations are there. The topics of discussion there of global in nature. Separate to it, since Minister Jaishankar would be there, would be discussions on Canada-India bilateral relations. So in the Canada-India bilateral relations, the talks which are there is when we will be talking about our concerns with Canada in terms of its law and order enforcement and extremism, right? So the G7 is a separate agenda altogether, and India-Canada bilateral discussion is totally separate. So these two things are naturally separated.
This marks the third meeting between External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and Canada's Foreign Minister Anita Anand in the last 45 days. Earlier in October, Anand had met Prime Minister Modi and India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal in New Delhi. The renewed India-Canada engagement is a platform for India to champion multipolarity. As for Carney himself, it's decentralization of his supply chains.
Technological change is accelerating rapidly. The world has become more dangerous and divided, and that decades-long process of an ever closer economic relationship between Canada and the United States is over. And as a consequence of particularly that last point, many of our former strengths, based on our close ties to America, have become our vulnerabilities. And this is happening fast. This is not a transition, it's a rupture.
As per reports, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is set to hold bilateral talks with Canadian counterpart on the sidelines of the summit, signaling a thaw after 2 years of chill. Prime Minister Carney had weathered domestic storms after inviting Prime Minister Modi in the June G7 Leaders Summit, where he faced protests from the Khalistani groups. But ties are warming up. Anand's October India trip advanced CEPA negotiations targeting $20 billion in bilateral trade by the year 2030.
Progress which we have been making with India, not part of these meetings, so I didn't meet directly with Prime Minister Modi here. The foreign minister, other ministers have been meeting with India. That's what we're doing to build our strength at home first and foremost, build these partnerships abroad, reduce our reliance on the United States.
So my answer to this is, what is it going to take on Canada's end is really not much. Canada doesn't really care about any of this particularly too much. There's no social consciousness left over from the Niger fiasco. Most of Canadian consciousness is actually pointed right at the Trump tariffs. And the Mark Carney's base is quite rabidly anti-American right now. So any deal framed as sticking it to America would do it. The only country that really cares about, terrorism and murder of Indian nationals is India. So as far as Canada is concerned, everything's fine and dandy. There's really no problem lasting on Canada's point of view.
This engagement is significant as India has invited Prime Minister Carney to AI Impact Summit in February in New Delhi. A possible Modi-Carney meeting is also probable on the G20 sidelines in Johannesburg later this month.
Now it is likely that on the sidelines of the G20 summit in South Africa, Prime Minister Modi and PM Carney will meet again. And therefore it is very important, both in the context of the G7 as well as India-Canada relations. So when they can review exactly what are the issues between the relationship, how to iron out those differences through institutionalized mechanisms. And likewise in the G7, there are a lot of issues that are happening currently, and India has become virtually a permanent member of the G7 as well, because Prime Minister Modi himself has attended, I think, 11 or 12 times these summits. And therefore, this visit is important to take stock of the situation, especially with regard to the Middle East war, the Russia-Ukraine war, the other global challenges that are happening there, where Dr. Jaishankar will be able to exchange views with his counterparts.
India isn't just invited to the G7, it's essential. As the fourth largest economy projected to be third by 2027, we anchor G7's discussions on resilience. Our 6.5% growth rate outstrips the G7's 1.8%, making us a counterweight in the global supply chains battle.
One of the things that we're discussing this week as the G7 is how we can improve the resilience and security of our nations that share each other's values, so we are less reliant on imports from abroad, especially when you see the restrictions that China are now placing on some of their exports.
China is definitely on the agenda of the G7 foreign ministers, and Beijing is closely watching.
中方对出口管制体系进行规范和完善，符合国际通行做法，目的是更好地维护世界和平与地区稳定，履行防扩散等国际义务。我们敦促七国集团切实遵守市场经济原则和国际经贸规则，停止以小圈子规则破坏国际经贸秩序，共同维护世界经济稳定发展。
This provides a big opportunity for India to drop the baggage of the Trudeau era and give Carney an opportunity to recalibrate his predecessor's pro-Khalistani appeasement policy.
We don't take security concerns for Canadians too seriously. Why would we take security concerns for Indians seriously at all? Again, Canada doesn't really care too much about the territorial integrity and national sovereignty and togetherness of its own population right now. We import sectarian conflicts all the time, so why would we extend a courtesy we don't extend to ourselves towards Indians? Now, Mark Carney might be willing to sort of, let's be honest, we're talking about Khalistani separatism targeting Indian diplomats on Canadian soil. It's gotten worse under Carney. They've escalated. They continue to escalate, right? They're now trying to dox and go to the personal residences of the Indian High Commission, and the Carney government is taking no real measures to stop it.
From Niagara's cascades to Johannesburg's halls, External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar carries India's vision, a rising power at G7's core, bridging divide with strength and strategy. As G7 seeks delinking from China, India's partnership promises not just trade, but a balanced world order.
All right, the last one. The longest government shutdown in American history entered its 40th day today, casting a shadow not just over America's economy, but over its global image. While President Trump wages trade wars abroad, his own administration struggles to fund the basics, risking chaos in America's airports, national parks, and federal services. His solution to the entire issue, not to find middle ground with the Democrats, but go after the 60-vote majority needed in the Senate to pass the bill. Tonight, we look behind the headlines on how Washington's dysfunction shakes the US economy and what it means for India and the world. Take a look.
The US government shutdown has crossed the 40-day mark, making it the longest stretch on record where over 8 lakh federal employees have been on either furlough or have been working unpaid.
And so I'm glad to see Democrats, after 38 days, back down from the maximalist and frankly insane position they've held since September.
I know many Republicans stormed out the gate to dismiss this offer, but that's a terrible mistake. Our offer is not a new policy. This is not negotiating in a shutdown. It's simply agreeing to maintain current funding levels.
The US Senate is in complete paralysis. National parks are closed, vital services stalling, and the US economic engine is spurting dangerously, with air traffic next in line to be disrupted. In the halls of power, Washington's dysfunction risks dragging the global economy down, and the natural question is, what is this shutdown all about? When the US Congress fails to pass funding bills, that is their budget, many federal operations lose legal authority, leading to partial government closure from passport offices to vital agencies. Normal functioning halts until budget conflicts are resolved.
The Democrats have some soul searching to do. Are they going to continue to do that? Are they going to run from the far left and do their bidding? Or are they going to do right by millions of federal workers and the American people who continue to show up to work daily without pay?
At the heart of the crisis is the debt ceiling, America's borrowing limit, which has only grown larger and more controversial under Trump's Big Beautiful Bill.
Shutdown is separate from the Big Beautiful Bill. The shutdown is because the annual appropriations, annual budget that has to be passed by the Congress in order to fund most government expenditure, that bill is being held up by the filibuster, which requires 60 out of 100 senators to overrule it, to end it.
Economists calculate GDP growth slowed by billions, job markets destabilized, and consumer confidence shaken. An extended shutdown now risks more severe recession and deeper cracks in America's fiscal foundations.
It is indeed, at 38 days now, the longest government shutdown. A lot of this government spending that has been halted they'll eventually be paid in the future. So the negative spending effects are temporary to the extent that the government will spend the money that it can't spend at the moment. But there is some uncertainty about that because non-essential workers who have been furloughed, laid off, are supposed to get paid eventually when the money is there again under existing law, but this law is being contested by the government.
But what is the logjam? Democrats argue Republicans want to sabotage healthcare tax credits to leverage political gains.
Republicans are not about to further burden taxpayers by blindly extending a flawed program. The Democrats' proposal is just more of the same, masking rising premiums and padding insurance companies' profits with more taxpayer dollars.
I think that Republicans don't want to prop up, they don't want to bail out the Affordable Care Act, which is failing. Remember when the Affordable Care Act passed back in, when was it, 2013 or 2012, something like that. It passed without a single Republican vote in Congress, and they don't like the program and they don't want to help it. The Democrats have shut down the federal government because they want more funding, they want more tax subsidies, tax-based subsidies of Obamacare, the ones that were implemented during the recent COVID-19 pandemic when Joe Biden was president, and they want those large subsidies to continue.
Republicans claim Democrats have weaponized social spending, refusing to budge. This stalemate has paralyzed one of the largest economies of the entire world.
The problem is Republicans aren't serious as it relates to solving the affordable healthcare crisis that they've created, solving the cost of living crisis that they've made worse. As Democrats, we've made clear, we will sit down anytime, any place with anyone to find a bipartisan path forward to reopening the government.
Democrats are the one offering real solutions to protect American families and reopen the government right now, not pitting healthcare against national security. Just yesterday, Senate Democrats led by leader Schumer put forward a straightforward compromise, a clean continuing resolution to fund the government at current levels, plus 3 bipartisan appropriation bill for key departments and 1-year extension of expiring healthcare premium tax credits.
Inside the Senate, Republicans are not united. Some oppose Trump's strategy and want to end the shutdown. Others stand firm on the conservative principle. Crucially, Trump needs Democrats to cross over, but political antagonism runs very deep in US politics.
55% of Trump supporters support it after all. So it's alarming that Republicans even refuse to acknowledge we have an immediate crisis right now that needs fixing.
Trump's biggest roadblock is the filibuster, the rule that needs 60 votes in Senate to pass major legislation.
The way to do it for the Republicans is to terminate the filibuster. They call it the nuclear option. This is the second form of nuclear. Very good.
This American practice means that a small group of 41 senators can stall government bills indefinitely, adding complexity to an already tense budget crisis.
I am totally in favor of terminating the filibuster, and we would be back to work within 10 minutes after that vote took place, and lots of other good things would happen. And it doesn't make any sense that a Republican would not want to do that.
Trump's resolution is simple. He wants fellow Republicans to end the constitutional provision of filibuster and break the deadlock.
But the biggest thing is the filibuster. We have to get the country going. We will pass legislation at levels you've never seen before, and it'll be impossible to beat us. By the way, if they do, they're going to do it anyway, and they are going to immediately do the filibuster.
Ending the filibuster is a double-edged sword, as it would also mean in future when Democrats could then pass legislation unilaterally. Changing Senate dynamics permanently, Republicans fear this weakens their long-term leverage. Amidst all this, the clock is ticking for Trump. His approval rating has taken a plunge, coming to the lowest levels of any of his predecessors during this juncture in their presidency. With socialist Democrats like Zoran Mamdani stirring excitement in the US electorate.
So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Trump's political base is under pressure. Midterm test looms with the Senate's fate crucial to Trump's future influence. With US aviation sector next on the hit list, with thousands of flights being cancelled amid shutdown, all eyes are now on Washington. Because if talks fail, Americans expect more severe disruptions, including critical air traffic delays, a crisis that will be felt far beyond the Capitol Hill.